Hey guys, it's Markcoos here, and as you can see, we're playing PES 2016. Well, you probably can't tell because it looks a lot like PES 2015, but it is PES 2016, and it is MyClub. Now, I'm bringing it back. This is the first episode. It's just a very short episode. I'm probably going to do a lot more MyClub, potentially until they update the roster changes. They've not done that yet. Usually they do it on like the first week, and they've not done it in the first 2 or 3 days. So I'm just waiting until that changes, until I can start my mass league and whatnot. But in today's episode, it's basically just me starting it off, changing the team name, all that sort of stuff, making it sure that I have a particular team in particular, and stuff like that. And of course, moving on, I'm playing one match and showing I'm opening like basically all the balls and all that stuff you have available to open at the beginning of the game. So with that being said, the team you start with is absolutely horrendous. Loads of rated 60s, loads of rated 50s. Not really anything too special. Your highest rated player is like 64 or 63. It's a bit ridiculous. So I went into the first part of the game. Of course, when you actually start the MyClub, you do get like an option. They give you like a free ball to get like a relatively decent player. But I decided to reset the team and start again from fresh, and just use the 3 balls which they gave you for playing PES 2015 MyClub. So that was okay. You get 3 free players for progression, and I got 10,000 odd GP for just essentially just doing stuff like playing the game and whatnot. So with that being said, we'll play some MyClub for the beginning, play maybe two or 3 games an episode, and then just basically try and just play some games, probably play some online games as well, record that and stuff like that. So in the first player who I end up signing, I sign a player. Of course, as you'd expect, the balls rotate. It's all black player. It's all rated 80 or more players, so it's relatively good players is what I should be getting. And eventually, of course, you press X, you pick the player, and the player I do end up getting is Gabriel. I think it's Gabriel or Cabral. He's a left back. Yeah, Cabral, a left back from Verfol Cow. Also, my kit will be changing as well. I won't be keeping it in the blue kit. I'll, of course, make my own kit for it. Probably, maybe put up a PNG link first. If you want to, you can actually use the kit yourself and stuff like that. So, yeah, basically that sort of stuff. But going into the second player, we end up getting another player. Again, with these players, they're all rated level 30. Basically, your players start at level 1, and then you get to level 30. Basically, with it's basically a really cool way of just making the game a little more progression-wise. For this one, I get Chicharito, who's technically at Real Madrid in the game, but in reality he's actually at Bayer Leverkusen, and that will change when, of course, they update the rosters and stuff like that. And going into the final purchase of a special agent, we end up getting a pretty good player, but it's sort of getting some players that we sort of need rather than just sort of players just in general. So of course, signing 5 players in total supposedly, when in reality I've actually only signed 3. I signed 4 in this episode because I used another 10,000 GP on an individual player trying to get a good goalkeeper. And basically the third and final player we get from these 3 special agents, we end up getting D'Alessandro from SC Internacional, the Argentinian. Well, he's a relatively old player, but he's a really quite good creative playmaker. He's quite a good left midfielder as well as an attacking midfielder, so pretty good player in general. But moving on to the signing player of a top agent, we end up signing a player going, as I said, we were going to go for a good goalkeeper or centre back, and we went for a goalkeeper. So we picked up Ivorov as our special agent, paid the 10,000 GP because 10,000 GP isn't really that much. Made a signing through a top agent, acquired 500 points, so only paid 9,500. And we end up getting really fortunate and actually getting a black ball here. I'm just going to tell you that now because it is ridiculous how fortunate I am. So I just thought, it's based off luck. You can't really, there's no like thing behind it. So you get a black ball, and I was like, oh my god, who's this player? Oh my god, he's doing crazy dives. And I knew straight away that it was Gianluigi Buffon. So I have an 88 rated goalkeeper, a player I will always use, and a player I will probably never ever not use, which is really good because it means that I have a really good goalkeeper and I never need another good goalkeeper. So with Gianluigi Buffon in my team, it alone just makes it so ridiculously good, which is just ridiculously amazing. So moving on, we end up playing our first games in the divisions. We end up eventually get rated with a player whose rating is 393, which suggests that he's already lost 1 game. He's played 1 game and he's lost it because your rating increases, not decreases. So with it decreasing, of course, looked at his team. He had 1 standout player in Gareth Bale. I think that was his loan player. You got at the beginning of the thing, you actually got the ability to loan a player. Unfortunately, there's no game sound because I still had Peter Drury and Jim Beglin as a commentating team, and I don't know if I'll keep them on or not. because I mean it's quite cool with them. They're really well. Peter Drury in particular is a pretty good commentator. He's a little bit inconsistent, but it's quite cool. Also, by the way, I'm going to have a review of PES 2016 coming out on my channel probably like by the end of this week, just to basically see how the game is and whatnot. So yeah, but in the first minutes, I mean, I'm getting some shots. We get a pretty decent shot. We actually really nice little flick there. But like in this particular game, like I'm really enjoying playing the actual game, and I was so unfortunate in this match in the first half because I was dominating this dude so much. Then I made a mistake in the 21st minute. He got through on goal of Heston, and I was like, oh well, that's me basically probably going to concede here. Gianluigi Buffon comes up with a really good save, and then he couldn't put away the rebound. And then in the 27th minute of the match, down the right hand side of Samarancha, he passes it in a little bit. Eventually, it comes up to Tavares. Doesn't go to anyone. Eventually, Vaz Cornelis picks it up, runs it to Samarancha. He just runs past me like I'm not even there. Gets a strike away. Really good save from Buffon. Really poor clearance from Cabral. Comes down. Eventually, Heston gets a strike away, and Heston puts it in the back of the net past Gianluigi Buffon after I had basically dominated him. But in the 45th minute of the match, as you'll see in a moment, you'll see the stats. Like the stats sort of show that I was basically winning this game. This part here, I really should have easily won, maybe even scored the goal, but for some reason I just sort of panicked ever so slightly, and Ayatollah can't put the ball away. So 1-0 at half time to FC Bluegrass. And I mean, as you see there, we had 8 shots to on target. He had 50% pass completion. Like his passes were just horrendous. But in the 58th minute of the match, D'Alessandro on the ball gives it to Hamid Al-Din. A really nice through ball to Javi Hernandez. And look at that for a finish from Javi Hernandez right across the ground, scoring a really, really, really nice finish to make it 1-1. Moving up to the 68th minute of the match though, he does try and get an opportunity here, but eventually Zainal steals the ball off him, gives it to Tavares, and Tavares just runs forward for a bit, gives it into Javier Hernandez. I know that Javier Hernandez isn't particularly the fastest player in the game, but he was a little bit good with his dribbling. Eventually did a little nice shot feint, nothing Keown can get to, and then he just pings it into the back of the net to make it 2-1 to us with 20 minutes left in the game, more or less cementing a sort of lead going forward. Into the last 5 minutes of the match, Montero, who had brought on as a substitute, ended up picking up the ball here, gives it into D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro with a nice little bit of control essentially, gets a finesse shot away. It was probably going to go in anyway, or the keeper had made a save, and it gets deflected and goes into the back of the net. In the last minutes of the match here, he takes out Montero again with Samarancha, who'd got a yellow card earlier on, and he gets a straight red card. Really nice animation here as you see the referee's like, yeah, I'm going to calm him down, I'm going to just stop, and then he gives him a straight yellow card and a red card, which is really nice to see as well. So moving on to the last seconds of the match, as you see here, he passes the ball out, and a 3-1 win for us. Online debutant, you've earned a trophy, got another trophy for the MyClub First Divisions win, and stuff like that. So if you want to, we can go on to the next division already to get to Division 11, but we're probably going to play a couple more games in Division 12, get sort of used to playing the game in general online, and then maybe move on to the next division. So as you see here, players were upgraded: Zainal, Keown, Hamid. Like these players are probably never ever used ever again, and you can of course change players to training players as well, stuff like trainers and stuff like that. So it's a lot more integrated this year and a lot more fun to, the game in general is a lot more fun to play. So I will probably do a lot more MyClub if I get the time, of course, last year of university and whatnot. So yeah, so if you have enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for more, and catch you later.